Are you kidding me? That's what?
Yeah, every so often it happens that Ryan is right.
100% right. Not even a little bit right.
Tucker Pullman, 2 points last game.
No kidding. My man.
Hey, neither does me running shirtless, but that turned out very well.
Welcome to the PP1 podcast.
Hey, it's us again.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Sorry, that's loud. Second time in like 3 weeks. Wow, it's loud. It's us again. You're looking well. You're looking well.
Thanks, buddy. You too.
I like your hat. Very, very PP1 of you.
Topical, yeah.
Yeah, I would like to be golfing, but it's there's snow outside.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's no golfing
there yet.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Welcome to our show, the PP1 podcast. If you weren't paying attention, as I've said before in the intro, or you came late, it's the PP1 podcast. We've been around for a while. We're on the Dean Blundell network. I still have the Christmas back. You know, screw it. I'm leaving the Christmas background on there because it's very.
It's still the holidays.
It is. I think we can make lights still relevant. Absolutely. So we're gonna keep that up. It's the new year in 2 days, so we just thought, like, let's be greedy and get those stats up one more time. Let's try to make this happen. And there's been some Canucks stuff that's happened recently. There's been some Team Canada stuff. Christmas happened. I went to LA and you didn't, but I'm sure I didn't see you there anyway. So it's a big place, but I still didn't see you there. And so we're just gonna talk some hockey today and just enjoy being together, enjoy being a team. I'm not gonna call you out. I'm not gonna be yelling with like a minute to go in the show to like shape up and like maybe get closer to your mic or something. That's not what teammates do. I doubt we'll get that frustrated.
I don't need to head to the bench or anything like that. And
you know what? I think you're gonna be able to read the situation and figure out what needs to happen. Yeah. I don't really yell at people except for my kids. So
you don't yell at teammates.
Yeah, so we're gonna go over that. So you had a good Christmas? Yes.
Yeah, it was good.
Did you get anything from the list when we did our draft?
Nope, definitely didn't get any of those things. Yeah, we didn't go tobogganing. We didn't go to Hawaii.
What a lame Christmas.
I can't remember what else I had on that list.
Those are the big ones.
Yeah, those were the big ones.
Those would be pretty big, I think. I went in the ocean. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, how was that?
On Christmas Day, if you can be in the ocean and it's not freezing, that's a good day. It's like 25 degrees outside. It was a good day. Nothing like being in Santa Monica when everyone else is freezing their butt off in the snow. So I did soak that in. It was a lot of fun. Disneyland is a great place to be. I'm happy to be home. Universal, also a great place to be. Also happy to be home. Also, don't go to Disneyland at Christmas time. There's a lot of people, like a lot more than you'd expect.
Was it just crazy there or what?
Oh, it was, as you've said before, bears on bicycles. This was
it's just lunacy.
Every day got progressively more people. So the first day we were there, they have like these things called lightning lanes. So if you ever, I don't know when the last time you were there, but like they used to call it Fast Pass. Now they make you buy it, which everybody kind of knows about. But that you spend like $20 to $30 per person to like speed up, basically.
And does it make it that much faster?
Well, yeah, it's a separate line, right? So you kind of bypass the main line and you get into the quick line. So it is worth it if there's less people there, but as it got crazier and crazier, those lines became the same. So
yeah, that's what I always wondered. Like, does it change anything, right? Like you're paying for Fast Pass, but you're still waiting.
It's still worth it. I think on our very last day, it was like 2 days before Christmas. We did not get our money's worth, so that kind of sucked. But what do you do? So you go in the hopes that things go well. I mean, Star Wars, like Galaxy Edge, if you are a Star Wars fan, you geek out so hard from pretty much the first step to the very last second you leave the park. It's unreal. It is worth the price of admission. Anybody that's done it knows what I'm talking about. Anybody that hasn't done it, if you're a Star Wars fan, like,
did you ride the Millennium Falcon?
Man, it was wicked. So much fun.
Is it super rad? Yeah.
Yeah, both my kids got to fly it, so that was fun. Not really, because they can't fly. So it was a bit hectic, but I got to be on the guns. I did get to fly the left and right because they split it up. It's kind of cool.
Cool.
Rise of the Resistance is an experience like no other at a theme park. So again, worth the price of admission. It's like a 15-minute
Like
experience.
electronic ride though. Like, is it really like? I mean, do you get to? Is it physical like on a roller coaster? Because there's a lot more to than just like going through like a video ride. I feel like.
Oh man, it's like you're fully immersed in like the experience. It's like you're being brought onto the Star Destroyers, and like you're walking through like an active battle
Mhm.
essentially. So you're on these ships and they're trying to break you out, and
The whole thing's shaking and flopping around, and
man, you go around, like you do get hooked up to a ride at some point, but you're also on like this transport train. You're doing that. You get locked up in like a cell. They break you out with lightsabers. Kylo Ren, First Order. It's like you're in it. Like I said, it's like a 15-minute experience. And by the end, like your very first thought, like you look at the kids and everybody goes, totally worth it. And that's how you know. So,
yeah.
if those are the very first words, everybody's thinking like, we want to do it again. Like, is it worth waiting an hour and a half? Probably not right away again, but very, very cool. Well done, Disney. You've took our money and you'll take it again at some point. So very cool. I also got delayed. So, like I said, we spent Christmas in Santa Monica instead of Kelowna. So slightly different change of plans, but what do you do? What do you do?
Yeah.
Have some fun.
Yeah.
I did
Well,
not
I
get
mean,
to
did you get to do some fun stuff on your days layover? Or?
No, we just drove right out to Santa Monica and basically walked around, did some shopping, had some fun, went to the beach, like I said.
Mhm.
It was a good time. I mean, it wasn't planned, so we tried to do what we remember doing the last time we were there, take them to the pier, and like I said, I
Right.
mean, we hung out in the ocean for probably an hour. That alone was a lot of fun. So big king
Yeah.
tides coming in, awesome.
Nice. Do you
Yeah,
rent
it
a
was a good
board?
time. Pardon me?
Do you rent a board?
You know what? I thought about it after the fact. I'm like, oh, we should have rented a board, and the moment passed. So it is what it is. But you didn't go tobogganing, so that would have been the equivalent. Did you guys get up? Did you go like skating at Stewart Park or anything?
We actually haven't. No, I don't think anybody in the. I think only my youngest likes skating, so we're probably not going to end up skating, doing the family skate thing. So I'll take the little one out maybe at some point if she's still into.
I'll come skate with you.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, we'll we'll
We'll
do
get a
some hot
skate in. We'll go
chocolates,
grab Ferg. Maybe we'll go downtown and
or we
take
just
the
go to
little.
his house and skate.
Yeah, we can do that too.
We could just do that. A little bit
It's a little
tight
mushy
quarters.
right now, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna
Yeah.
do? Yeah. So
Watched
Christmas.
some Canucks games, so that was good.
Yeah, the Canucks.
The Canada
They
games,
did
yeah.
okay while I was gone. Hey,
I mean, yeah, they were your
3
classic
wins.
win one, lose one, win one, lose one.
Yeah, it's basically the Canucks. Their mo. I don't know if you saw last night. I was on Canucks Clay Emu. Game over on the Steve Dangle podcast network. Steve Dangle has a podcast network.
Oh, no way. There you
Yeah.
go.
So we talked some Canucks last night. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, Canucks Clay. He was down at Disney, but he was at the opposite park every day that I was there.
Oh, that's strange.
Yeah, I know. Like we were
Yeah.
really trying to hook up, and we're like texting back and forth, and it just didn't work out. So because you're there, you're marathon like parking
Yeah,
over there.
you got some tunnel vision working when that's happening. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I was on there talking Canucks after what he was hoping would be a win, which was it was not. But before we get into the Canucks, I did have one more thing, and I didn't really have this addressed yesterday on his show. The dill pickle salad at Costco.
It's
I
good.
think we're getting to the point where now it is overrated, and the Southwest salad needs to come back. I think I'm done with the dill pickle one. I feel it's had a little bit too much play. It's such a sharp taste. And I find like even on the salty side, like it's definitely as billed. It's good, but I think it's getting to the overrated. Like basically when How You Remind Me got overplayed in 2001 and 2002. Like great song, but when you hear it every single day,
We're comparing dill pickle to Nickelback's How You Remind Me.
are you surprised?
I'm not.
You're not exactly. So I'm going to find a way to.
I
Make
am not
Nickelback
surprised, but I do
different.
get caught off guard from time to time.
Yeah, well, that's normal. That's normal. So, like, where are you at? Are you even into these salads, like these kale salads, or no?
Yeah, like I'm fine with them. Like I can't remember the other one that we use. It's like this like
There's like
poppy
an
seed
Asian one as
poppy
well.
seed vinaigrette, something with like cranberry,
Yeah.
like dried cranberries and whatever. You know what? For like a quick bag salad, which on the whole aren't that great. Like it's pretty decent. It's like a good little
The
filler.
brand is great. The brand is great. So there are some great options. I'm just saying the dill pickle one came out, everybody was gangbusters on it, and I think it's run its course, is what I'm
I
trying
bet
to
you if I was to pop the fridge open right now, there's probably a bag of dill pickle
I'd bet money on it because there's still
salad in
one in
there.
mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just always I'm trying to get back to the
It's like
self.
one of those, it's probably one of those salads that like uh people can like take or leave, right? There's no like
Right.
I hate this or like I love this. Like people, you put it on the plate, it gets eaten.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'll eat it. I'm just
Well,
saying
that's exactly it. Yeah.
I think it's a bit overrated at this point. So I think we all need to move on, and maybe Costco needs to, you know, turn over stock and maybe put a new SKU out front. That's where I'm at.
I
These are
could see
these are
them
the things I think about because clearly there's
the
not enough to
salad
talk about.
that's selling really well for them. I could definitely see them just taking it off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a moneymaker. I think you guys should change it up. Speaking of change ups, Colin Delia did not change it up last night in time because
That's
well,
ridiculous.
it is so ridiculous. You know what's funny? Like everybody is just outraged about JT Miller and like beaking him, and I mean that was quite a moment, and the fact that like it was so audible and public, like it wasn't just something like hearsay or that you kind of heard. It was a moment at the end of the game that everybody saw, and yet I could see. I mean, there's frustration because they couldn't get the puck back every time they tried to do something. Winnipeg gained possession again, brought it back in. He never really got a good chance to make his break to the bench, like a normal, like a pulled goalie would, right?
Hmm.
So then they kept losing possession as they're getting closer to the bench as he's getting there. They keep turning it over. Well, that's not his fault. That's Bo Horvat. That's Brock Besser. That's JT Miller. There's like 5 guys in front of him that need to get possession of the puck, which they failed to do for about 2 periods last night.
Yeah.
So it culminated at that one point when he wouldn't go. Because, I mean, what are you thinking if you're him? If you're in net and you're thinking, well, you guys haven't cleared the zone. You haven't had possession longer than 6 seconds. I'm kind of thinking it's still not safe to leave yet because you clearly have blown it 4 times. So is this really, I mean, it's on him because he's still got to be paying attention. But at the same time, like, I don't know. It's boiled over frustration, I think, at the end of the game where maybe they had an opportunity.
Right. Yeah. Like
Wow.
it's, I don't know. I mean, it's a, I
Like
guess you should
it's
know,
cannon fodder. Who
when
cares?
you're supposed to be heading to the bench, but like, and it's fine for like Miller to be like a little pissy about it. And I guess it's like, we like give these guys um, like extra rope because like, oh, like we know that Miller's a grumpy guy. So like, it's okay that he was grumpy. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, I mean, just like he was berating him
It
during
was
the
it
game, right? Like
was
that's like,
yeah.
you know, you're kind of going after somebody, treating them like a child. Like you're all supposed to be equals. I know that they're not equals because one makes like a ridiculous amount of money and the other's a third string goalie, but like treat them like a human being, right? I mean, that's not good teammate stuff. I don't really.
Yeah, I think in the moment, like everything boiled over, but hopefully and I'm sure he did. He's a human being too. He realized he probably did the wrong thing in the moment, and he is a bit of a hothead, unfortunately, and we're probably going to see more of that as the years go by, or depending on how long he's here. But probably not his finest moment as a hockey player. But
Yeah, I
I
think
mean,
it might be nice to see somebody fucking bitch out and call out JT after he blows a power play or takes a shitty penalty or like goes in offside or like fucks over a dump in or like
yeah,
doesn't back check. Like, you know, but you don't ever see anybody go after Miller like that.
no, because he's getting paid too much money, and he'll be the one that voices everybody. Oh, well, I'm doing this and this. You're
I mean, he
not.
was doing
So
shit like that when he wasn't getting paid though either.
yeah, so I'm still going to bring up Nickelback if I get famous. So it's all the same. It's all relative, really. I don't know. It's a moment that probably didn't need to be a moment. It was public. Life goes on. They're going to play tomorrow against Calgary. Who cares?
Well, you could see him too. Like Delia was just like, oh shit, like
Yeah, he knew. He
He played
knew.
like a pretty solid game, I thought. Do you know what I mean? Like
He had a couple, like his first period was unreal. Second period, he was making some pretty crazy saves. That around the world glove save was pretty nice. The toe save on the breakaway. I mean, he had a pretty solid game overall. Team in front of him broke down, I think. Like that was a game that I think the Canucks lost as a team. I don't think that was on him at all. He didn't let in.
There's just no scoring. There's no support.
Yeah. So that on him, that was a win. On the team, it was a loss. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
What did you think of their power play? And I really haven't seen much Canucks because I didn't have access to hockey in America. There was a lot of football, which was great. We can get into that another day.
What did the power play do? I mean, I should pull up some box scores here.
I mean,
like Edmonton.
It's still that same thing that, and I brought this up last night with Clay. It's that same setup. They're not using that bumper spot properly anymore. They're not passing quick enough. You know it's going to go to Quinn or Petey. If it goes to Brock, he's not shooting fast enough. And when he does shoot, I mean, again, the goalie's got time and space to make a play. It's the same thing. We're back to that same gross Canucks power play.
Yeah, like they're still trying to work the bumper. It's funny because we've been talking about the gross power play, like the drop pass and like the setup and like not finding the shot from like the hash marks but then we've added the bumper, but now people are like, it's the same. It's still just the same bumper play. But it's like they find something that works and they sort of just stick to that for a little bit, and then they find success in something else, like the bumper play, and they stick to that for a little bit. I think you just want to just see them just react a little bit quicker, right? Like make in-game adjustments. That's tough to do at the NHL level, I guess. I mean, they looked good in San Jose. I mean, they looked good in Edmonton. And then they looked terrible last night, right? So
they get scores. I mean, they do convert on the setup that they have.
Of course,
the problem is it's still predictable though, is what I'm getting at. Like there is a way to make this power play lethal, and they just haven't tapped into that yet. I don't know what that is. I know what I'd like to see it as. I'm not an NHL coach, so I'm probably the last guy that should be telling people what to do. Clearly, we're not even the number one Canucks podcast where they could actually hear this. So, you know, that's where I think that's where I think the power play goes. I was looking at some stats. I was looking at where the Canucks are in the scoring lead.
I'm just peeking at the power play ranking right now, and I can't even see it actually. So that's weird.
I'm pretty sure it's still pretty good.
Yeah. It's just whatever the site is that I'm using wasn't pulling it up. So yeah, they're 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're ranked 7th now. So it's still
pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's still converting at a decent clip. Like it's 25.9%.
I think
when it's scoring, it's fine. It's just when it looks bad, it looks real bad, right?
Yeah, like in a microcosm, you look on a specific game and you can just pick it absolutely apart. Over a whole, yeah, they are producing.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look bad, like on the whole, right? I just think you're just looking for like in-game adjustments, I think, because when you see, even in games when they don't score, you still want to see them look dangerous, right? But when they you're right, when it's bad, they're just getting absolutely stymied. Mm-hmm. So, you know, what can they do? Is there a third look? Is there another option to open up the one-timer? Is there a backdoor play where the guy covers low because you scored on a previous goal and you come back with like a look in the high slot? Like, we just like to maybe see a little bit more of that, and maybe that is happening, and that's something that the average eye can't see. But the power play like isn't the main concern, that's for sure. It certainly doesn't look anything like the penalty kill, which is its own thing. But yeah, it's in a spot, right? And you want to see them defend better as a team on the overall, but the power play looks fine, and then the penalty kill sucks, and so we're in these weird levels, right? Like,
yeah,
it's a very high scoring team that can really outscore its problems, but they're so bad at defending that it sort of nullifies that. And the power play can look elite at times and is clipping it wrong at a top 10 rate or better. Yeah. But then the power play is just, or the penalty kill is just atrocious. And that sort of just evens it out again, right? So it's tough to make ground. And then you look at their record, boom, they're 500, right? I mean, it's almost all sort of relative in like a really simple way of looking at it. So if you can make some sort of an improvement on the D, which we know is very difficult. They've been trying to do that for years now. So the next logical spot is how do we shore up the penalty kill? And if they could somehow get the penalty kill into like a top 15 because I feel like they have the horses on penalty kill role players that could get the job done. They could somehow make an improvement, eke out another 5 or 6 wins. This team could be another 4 or 5 games above 500, and all of a sudden it looks completely different from an overall standings, right?
And I would definitely say like it's not a goaltending thing because I think everybody.
Well, I mean, the goaltending hasn't been great either. It's been adequate.
It hasn't been bad either. Like the way Demko's been playing this season up until his injury wasn't exactly spectacular. And Spencer Martin comes in, plays quite well. Colin Delia's been in. He's been pretty good as well. I mean, they don't look. It's not like wins above replacement kind of thinking. You're just looking like, well, they're kind of all playing the same right now. Last season may be a different story, but right now they're all kind of. You talk about 500 and everything else about their power play and PK. Goaltending is almost fitting into that same mold as well.
It's extremely average, right? I mean, I think I haven't looked. I think in the last little bit, it was both goaltenders were sub 900 save percentage.
Everything is basically par. No one's taking a step forward. No one's taking a leap.
And then if you look at this team again, it's 500 overall, right?
Yeah. So it's. As I was saying, I was looking into the stats a little bit, and
or hovers around that mark. Sorry,
pardon me.
I said or hovers around that mark. Sorry.
Yeah. So Bull Horvat tied for second in league goal scoring with 26. He's only 5 back of Connor McDavid. He's tied with Tage Thompson. He's having a crazy year. Just bonkers.
Looks unreal. 39 points in 35 games. It's unreal.
Guy is absolutely bonkers. The thing is, after Bo, the next highest goal scorer is, we're going to state the obvious here, Elias Pettersson. He's at 16. And then you've got Kuzmenko, who's at 15. So if they're winning or if they're just scoring at all, you're kind of thinking those are going to be the 3 guys that are scoring right now, which is great. That's great that those 3 guys are scoring. But then it really drops off, right? I mean, you could probably
fit Mikheyev into that mix too, especially lately. Right, but you have your top 6, your top 5, really, and then it's like peter out after that.
Yeah, like JT Miller's got 13, then you've got Mikheyev, and then Brock Besser's got 6. So that's half of the 5th guy. You've got Connor Garland with 6.
For just to add some context to that, yeah, exactly. Dakota Johnson also has 6 goals.
Dakota Joshua, because Johnson, 50 Shades of Grey.
Is that who it is? Yes, that's right.
50 Shades of.
Yeah, we just watched. That's funny. We watched Peanut Butter Falcon last night.
What's that?
It's so good. It's Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, he was in Transformers.
Yeah, that's right. Same guy. And Dakota Johnson's in it.
Oh, okay.
And he like befriends a Down syndrome man.
Okay.
And they go on like this adventure basically through circumstance, the unlikely duo. And it's great. It's like a super awesome movie. I'd check it out if I were you.
I'm interested. I mean, I'm going to have some time over the next 3 days.
Yeah. It's like an uplifting coming of age movie. So it was really good though. I liked it.
So I'm sorry. I'm just looking still. Sheldon Dries, 3 goals. Luke Shen, 2 goals. Ethan Bear, 2 goals. Jack Studnicka, 2 goals. Kyle Burrows, 2 goals. Quinn Hughes, 1. OEL, 1. Tanner Pearson, 1. Lane Peterson, 1. Curtis Lazar, 1. And then there's a lot of guys that haven't scored.
I mean, you can pull Rathbone, Poolman, Lockwood, and Dermott off that list because they've only played like 6 or less games.
Still,
but yeah, you got Puck Colson who still hasn't scored this year, who's looked much better in Abbotsford in the last little bit.
Yeah,
he's just manhandling guys, and I watched the play a little early in the year where he had the puck and a guy came to just level him, and he just put a shoulder in him and just flattened the guy. It was hilarious. But yeah, you're also seeing guys like Riley Stillman get a lot of ice time who offer nothing in the way of offense. And then Tyler Myers kind of in that same boat.
Yeah,
so,
I think they're too much opportunity in the wrong areas. I think, or maybe it's just maybe they're bad. Maybe they're just bad.
Yeah, well, maybe. I mean, I think there's some nice pieces there. I just think, Lane Peterson, for example, that was a nice little call up. He seemed to fit in pretty seamlessly there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So pretty cool for an undrafted guy to Vancouver obviously has a special place for players like that come up, a la Alex Burrows. So
Well, they
it
left
would
alone
be
Kyle Burrows.
yeah, it would be cool to see Peterson sort of develop into some sort of useful piece for Vancouver moving forward. And you just never know where it's going to come from. And I don't think you're picky where it's coming from as long as it does what you need it to do.
I'm not picky at all. Just opportunity. Let that translate into production, which translates into wins.
Yeah, Peterson, if we're talking about Peterson in production, so he had 2 points in Seattle and then, came in St. Louis, nothing, couple of points in Seattle, nothing in Edmonton, another point in San Jose. Plus he had that huge defensive stand on the goal line that he saved a goal.
Yes.
He's looked pretty good defensively, and then nothing again in Winnipeg, but the whole team kind of looked like trash. But yeah, I haven't noticed him in a negative way playing about 14 minutes a game. So that's kind of fun.
Have you seen any World Juniors?
I have watched some World Juniors. Yeah, I watched the was it Sweden Czechia game as much as I could the other night while we were out for dinner. I also scoped Sweden's opening round game. So obviously trying to get a look at Amaki and Repeaty or DPD. So that one's been pretty good. I watched the opening round game for Canada in that loss, which Bedard, for as exciting as he was, I was kind of getting some like World Juniors Mitch Marner vibes from him. Just like fucking just pass the puck, man. Like, he's so exciting and he's so good, but like I feel like he just moved it around a little bit more than we could have popped a few more goals, and then all of a sudden he starts doing that the very next game, and you're like, okay, that's the player we needed for sure.
It's tough to watch though, because you know how good these guys are. I mean, the Austria and Germany aren't exactly the litmus test.
No.
So, but it's great to see that they're making power plays work and they're moving the puck around and obviously putting goals in. But
all those teams are weird, right? They're all just trying to hang around.
But that's what you want to see against Czechia. That's what you want to see against USA. That's what you want to see against the Swedens. Like all the teams that you need to beat, not the teams that you're going to beat.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got a game. Who do they got for New Year's? Is it US again?
Looks like Sweden.
Is it Sweden? Okay, so that's gonna be
an
awesome
because Sweden won their game, and there was three teams at 2 wins.
Yeah,
so
that's gonna be a great
we
game.
sort of needed Sweden to beat Czechia, and that's better for Sweden anyways. It's better for the Canucks that Sweden wins, because we want to see players play in important games. And P, I know that he got hurt a little bit in that game. I think I don't know what happened in post, but he's playing an important role for that roster.
Obviously, we got to talk about Bedard a little bit more. He's a freak.
You know who we don't talk about and we haven't talked about?
Nick Merkley.
I was watching some Spangler Cup games.
Oh, Travis Green.
And I don't think the Spangler Cup gets enough love. I mean, there's so many cool. Yeah, well, not really. I mean, the hockey's really good. I mean, we're pumping up prospects, obviously, that we get to watch the future of the NHL, and that's all exciting stuff. But like, if as much marketing went into the Spangler Cup as it did go into the WJC, I think it would be. It's a really cool, fun tournament when you think about it. They select players from Canada, from all over the European leagues. They build rosters, and players can be added from the AHL, or I believe even the NHL if they put them out on loan or something like that. Like, I think Alex Auld played in that tournament a while back when he was Canuck property, and like you get to see players that you don't normally see on European squads, and former prospects and former NHLers and aging veterans and young up and coming stars as well. And I don't know. I think it's a really, really fun format, and I would be totally down to watch more of it. And I think another cool thing about it is it's not something that Canada walks in and they're a favorite every year. It's not that at all. There's I was talking about it with a guy on Twitter. Remember a year when Joe Thornton was playing for, I think it was like Davos or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's cool. You can't pull Canadians from rosters of players that are going to be in this tournament. So it's something that I feel like we could probably give a little more love to, because it's really good hockey and it's a really fun format. And it's something completely different than anything we get to see any other time of year.
It just gets lost in the marketing machine though, right?
It really does. Yeah, for sure.
And it's always timing. And that's why, like, the World Championships, again, on the same ilk, I think that's a tournament that probably could get a little bit more love as well. It's just the playoffs are on. So it kind of gets lost, because if you had to pick, I'm going to pick the Stanley Cup playoffs over the World Championships, because the level of play is just like, people that don't like hockey will watch the Stanley Cup playoffs because it's just so insane.
Yeah.
So, when is the best time for those tournaments? I don't know. If they really wanted to make a thing of it, I'm sure they could. But I mean, the system seems to work. I think they're just hoping to get some eyes on it. It's not a moneymaker, but I think it is more about the hockey than the sell, I think, at that point.
Champions League's a similar thing, right? In Europe. Yeah. That's a really cool concept when you think about it. You're taking the best teams, the league winners from each league, and they're playing in a tournament field. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah. I've always wondered how they could do that with, I think people brought it up, like the Stanley Cup champion would play. They used to do that for the All-Star game. Stanley Cup champions would play the NHL All-Stars way back in the day. Not so much anymore. That wouldn't be fun for a team that maybe squeaks out and wins the Stanley Cup one year, and then they get absolutely clobbered by the.
Just get smashed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we play a good team game. You see, but they've got Crosby, Ovechkin, and McDavid on that team.
They should do that like in the Olympic format, right? Instead of like building a team, they would just carry a full team, like a team that was put together and won a championship or something like that. That's what they'd bring to the Olympics. I can't remember.
Maybe.
It was probably before my time.
It was before our time. That's okay. That's all right. You know what? We've got time for dudes and guys, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
There's lots to choose from for the first time in a little while. Yeah.
Let's dudes and guys. I feel like I've heard that theme song on other shows before. Maybe it's also branded as a dual option. Let's get the bad out of the way. Who's your guy?
Oh, geez. There's like a few to choose from here. And I feel like, let me just look at some numbers here real quick, just so that I have, I don't know, just for the fun of it, because he just is like kind of pissy pants. Mr. Pissy Pants cries in his diaper and all that good stuff. He's kind of acting like a little bit of a
he cries in his diaper?
He's in a diaper and he's crying and he's acting like a little baby.
I was wondering if he pulled it off.
Maybe he's crying in his diaper. No, I mean,
I'd cry.
The Miller thing was like kind of annoying. I just it was like a really entitled thing, I thought. I don't know. I think we played on teams where guys just blow up on you. Like, I know you're pulling the goalie. I know there's only 30 seconds, and the 5 seconds you had to use to yell at him were 5 seconds that you could have used to score. But I mean, numerous opportunities to do something in that game beforehand that weren't the fault of Colin Delia, who actually played a pretty good game, in my opinion. So to blow up on him like that on national television, just continue to scream at him and just dropping F-bombs and like just going after the guy. Like, it was brutal, and it was only a 5-second snippet, but like kind of a shitty teammate thing to do, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's what it all comes down to. You start thinking like, well, I've played in team sports and I've done like, you might get upset if it was like a big game. Like, remember that ball game that we played in the final? When the dude beraids his own, like the. Ugh.
Yeah, it's just brutal. Like, and that team won the game. Like, that team won. They beat us, right? And yet you have a guy just blowing up on a teammate.
Yeah.
Like, just needless. I don't know. And I know that we're not pros, and there's money on the line, and you have a guy making tons of money and a guy who's a third string goalie. We just talked about all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But like, I think Mr. Miller could have got up and did something himself earlier in the game, and he makes plenty of mistakes that I don't think I see anybody blow up on him in that manner.
Exactly. I'm gonna go with Quinn Hughes. One
Oh.
goal, seriously, this season. One.
Yeah, but he scored finally.
Jeez.
It was a beauty. Did you see the goal?
I did. It
Oh my
actually
God.
the goal he scored, and I'm trying to separate what he did before and the goal itself and the rest of the season. Because that goal, I actually stood up and I just said to Christine, I'm like, he just circled the zone twice by himself,
Yeah.
got a shot off, regained possession, and scored. I said that
Also, I
might
think he's
be
on pace for 80 points this year.
it was one of
No, it's
like
not 80, but it's
it
up there.
was like a Sedin like shift with one guy.
There was
He
some
basically did.
there,
I
yeah.
said to her, I'm like, that's the shift 3.0. Like it
Yeah,
was crazy.
Quinn is on pace for 77 points
That's
and 3 goals.
Siri wanted in on that conversation.
Yeah, 77 points and 3 goals. So he's on
Yeah. So I mean, if this guys are untouchable, I think we need more than a goal, Quinn. Maybe be a bit more selfish, like some of the other players on the team. Clearly, the other 5 guys up top. Let's get another goal. You can score against Calgary. That'd be a great team to score against. You're my guy for this week because I'm so upset that you have 1 goal at this point in the season and a lot of helpers. Whoop-de-doo.
So, in 2020, 2021, he only had 3 goals.
That's it?
What a bum, eh? Writing should have been on the wall.
Yeah, I feel like we should have known this by now. Yeah, just get another one. Just at least, validate what I'm saying here, okay? Just come back, score against Calgary. The Ryan bump works again. We can all move on. Everybody's happy. Canucks celebrate, win the Stanley Cup this year. It's all good. Who is your dude for this week?
I think I took the low hanging fruit in JT Miller in this one. So there's a particular center on the squad who I think has just been a light show the last little bit. So I'm gonna leave that low hanging fruit.
Take whoever you want. I got
And
options.
I'm gonna go after this guy who I think deserves a little bit of love, and that's Ilya Mikheyev.
You've been high on him though, even since the preseason.
But man, I think he's just playing so well, and now we're starting to see the offense coming. So goals versus St. Louis, Edmonton, and San Jose. Not to mention the San Jose game was a 4-point night. He was, in my opinion, he was the least of our concerns in the Winnipeg game. I think he was still skating well. There was lots of forecheck going on. I know his line got scored on.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're looking at 6 points in the last 5 games, so he's starting to explode a little bit offensively. And as much as you can say a guy can explode in Mikheyev's role, but I mean, yeah, 22 points in 32 games. He's looked solid. Skating as advertised. He's a forechecking beast, which I think we all can appreciate, especially in days of watching guys like Yannick Hansen and Alex Burrows out there do their thing. So he looks good. Not to boot, he's the type of person that you feel like you can use on both special teams or sprinkle him in to go play on the first line or even the second line. Or he just seems so versatile, and he's a bigger body, which I think this roster also needs, right? So I wasn't a huge fan. So this probably goes and tells you like how I felt about it originally. I wasn't a huge fan of going out and signing 27, 28-year-old forwards, but the caps hit seemed okay. It seemed like maybe it was a little early for something like this, but he's been solid. I mean, he's been as advertised and maybe a little bit better offensively than we initially thought.
He's a good fit. I think that's been the nice thing about the guys that have been added this year. The fit seems to be there. Oh, as a whole, right? We could bring up Kuzmenko. We can bring up Mikheyev. Both of those guys have been really good fits this season. So, and the goaltending, obviously, Spencer Martin being the bona fide backup, Colin Delia coming up, Peterson. They've had some good fits on this team this year. So maybe that's something we should be excited about. I'm tossing and turning about who I'd like to pick as my dude, but I'm going to go with, he's not a center. He is the prized sweepstakes guy from Russia, Andrei Kuzmenko. What's not to like? He's scoring at a torrent pace, or torrid pace. He's on the score sheet all the time. He smiles for days. He's just a goofy dude, but you can just see him like his hockey sense is through the roof. He fits in, as we just said. He's scoring great goals. He's a hard worker. I've just been. It's been so exciting just to watch this guy. Like he's tearing it up. He already has 15 goals. He's 32 points. I'm not going to say rookie year because that sounds stupid. But I mean, guy's got 2 goals. What has he got? 2 goals and 4 assists in his last 5 games. Meh, not too bad. Not too bad at all. He's getting involved in every aspect of the game, and he's a guy that the Canucks can count on, and has been able to count on pretty much every single
he's
game.
Completely replaced Besser at this point. I mean,
He has, which I think maybe that's the first, thing to fall. Maybe it won't be Bo that gets moved out right away. Maybe it is Besser that gets moved, because you're absolutely right. Kuzmenko has made this so easy. He's doing all the things we've wanted Brock Besser to do, and he's just done them all instantly. Yeah. My cat's trying to break into the room, apparently. That's fun. Thanks.
Funny, it's funny on the Kuzmenko thing. Obviously, the Canucks want to get rolling on trying to lock him up. They're not eligible to do so yet, obviously. But I think they can have these conversations with Dan Milstein, Kuzmenko's agent. Milstein's got his hands all over this team, right? I mean, I believe he's Bud Colson's agent. We know that he's Ilya Mikheyev's agent. So it's kind of a weird one, right? I mean, this team is, they were reporting earlier, this team has talked about, looking at a number to resign. And then you have a guy like Milstein saying, no, we don't want to resign because I don't know, it's too early. I don't know what kind of player fully Kuzmenko's going to be, right? So that he knows that obviously Kuzmenko is an NHLer, but how much of an NHLer is he going to be?
Yeah.
Is he
going to leave dollars on the table?
Guy? Yeah. So they don't want to sign a contract under Milstein's, under Milstein's direction. So that kind of puts the Canucks in a bit of a tough spot, because now they're talking about how are they going to figure out to do this. There's still the Horvat trade that has to happen. There's still, potentially, a guy like Brock Besser that never seems to leave the trade market. There's always rumors about them looking for a way to just move on from a guy like Tyler Myers just to free up salary. And this isn't always a slight to these players and their ability, but just how do you shore up cap room, right? I mean, it's sort of the death by the thousand cuts thing that we've talked about. So I don't know what's going to happen, right? I mean, they could. I mean, he said that he wants to be here. He did choose Vancouver. He's having success here. So I think all signs point to it being a quality fit for him in the future. But man, they painted themselves into a tough corner, walking away from whatever trade possibilities were available to them for the Miller deal. And now Miller is a Canuck for a very long time. And they're walking away from a player who's having one of the best Canuck seasons in a long, long time. In Bo Horvat, figuratively. I don't know what the initial thought process was in there, thinking that you're going to get him at some sort of a deal. Instead, he goes out and is having a career year now. So that's sort of off the table. What happens in that money? What happens in players coming back? What happens in salary that's going to be moved onto this roster? They don't know what's going to be there. They're already so close to it. So re-signing like somebody like Kuzmenko is going to prove to be difficult for them. So I just hate the idea of seeing them put into this spot and possibly continuing to have to see players move on or move along because of all these moves, right? So
what's scary though is
going to be interesting.
Canucks always pay their guy. Like they always pay their guy.
Except for that guy who's
Except
second
for that one guy.
NHL scoring. Yeah. They're going to walk away from, and even that is like, okay, like I get that. I see the idea of walking away from Bo Horvat, as long as you can get max value back. Just like I could see the idea of them walking away from JT Miller in a career year. But you got to get your pieces back. You can't just sign up on a guy, and that I don't like 7 or 8 year contracts for 28-year-old players. I just hate it.
I don't like it for any player, actually. I don't like long contracts to begin with. 5 years max. That should be.
Yeah, I mean,
6 if you're drafted by the team. That's it.
I mean, they're going to have Pettersson to resign here pretty quick, which factors into the whole Kuzmenko thing as well, right? Like that was a mistake. I don't care what anybody says. Like they're going to have to put up for a guy who's looking like he might be all world as well. in Elias Pettersson. So they have really, I just feel like, have continued to shoot themselves in the foot with a lot of these decisions that are being made in terms of what the future looks like for this roster and how it's going to be managed.
Yeah. I want to finish on a high note.
Mm-hmm.
Not a Dan high note, but a normal high note.
Oh, Dan high note. Good.
I know.
Good pull
Nice
there.
pull. I know.
Yeah.
So I'm on the plane. I'm coming back from LA to Calgary, and there's a lady in front of me, and she's
The
watching.
old LA to Calgary connect. Yeah.
Great connection flight. It's it's underrated, if you will. So I'm a seat back to the right, and she's watching Emily in Paris, hit show on Netflix. I'm sure you've seen it.
What's that, sir? Oh no, I haven't seen it.
Emily
I
in
know
Paris.
about it.
It's not bad.
I know
it's
about
pretty
it.
good.
I've never seen it though.
My wife Christine quite enjoys it. I'm seeing a handful of episodes, and by a handful, I've probably seen at least a season. Much like Bridgerton and the other ones. I'm just too lazy to get off the couch. Anyway, so I'm watching her watch. I'm watching the show from behind because my podcast was done and just bored. And the girls are sitting in their seats. They're watching some show on the iPad. And this lady's got her headphones on. She's watching her on her iPad there. And she every I don't know, few minutes she'll be watching, and then a scene will happen, it's not something major in the scene, and then she'll hit the 15 seconds reverse button and then watch it again. And she's not talking to her friend in the other aisle. She is watching the show. If you're
She's just
watching
dozing off,
no, just she's watching, and then she'll do it again. And then there's one I saw her would do it one time, I think in a second episode. She did 3 times over the course of 2 minutes. I'm just thinking what's going on? What is the meaning of this? And not dozing off, she's watching this show, and it's did you miss something? Because it didn't look like an exciting scene. It was just regular dialogue.
maybe it was just so boring that she wasn't able to
that you would rewind it and watch it
again. You had to rewind it and watch it again so she could understand what was happening.
There was nothing exciting going on, you missed something. It would be there's nowhere else for you to go. You're watching this on your screen in your own personal. I just don't get it. It's something interesting. Emily in Paris, great show. Netflix. What a way to end, hey?
Oh man,
what a way to end.
Beauty.
Yeah, the things that go on in my life, I tell you, they're special. Any big plans for this weekend? Any New Year's Eve? I know you're going out on a date. That's fun.
Yeah, date night tonight. Plans for New Year's Eve. It's a good buddy of mine. It's always his birthday, obviously, because it's his birthday every year.
It happens every year usually. That's
his birthday on the turn of the year, so we always try to get together. There's us and 2 other families who so the Sherbecks and the Cones. So we get together at somebody's house. Every holiday we do a potluck thing, and the kids hang out and they do their thing since they were little babies. So that'll be our plan.
There you go. Might watch a movie. We're gonna have some food. Maybe go watch the fireworks. They're not the same as LA, but
yeah, it might be a little bit of a letdown for the kids.
It's kind of tough when there's no grand orchestra and Tinkerbell, and it's a little different. It hits a little different when you come home. That's for sure. No, I don't know what we're gonna do.
Or it just doesn't hit, I guess.
Yeah, we got home the one day before I had to go back to work, so it's gonna be a resting weekend, I think, which is fine by me. There's really nothing going on. There's some hockey obviously to watch. Probably do the polar bear dip again. That also
that's your thing, eh? Yeah.
It is. I know our buddy Matt's been doing it since September, so I feel like it's lost its luster. I'm also trying to get over a cold, so I don't know if the polar bear dip's the greatest idea, but I'll still do it because I'm an
just
idiot.
shock it out of your system, though.
That's what I'm kind of hoping for, and you get hot chocolate after, so that's a win right there. So I don't know. That's pretty much us. I don't know. Just enjoy being at home for 3 days. There's nothing wrong with that. So
yeah.
And if it snows and stays, maybe I'll get into toboggan. Maybe I'll steal from your Christmas list.
There you go.
I don't know.
Quick little fun fact.
Yes.
Next game for Vancouver is obviously the New Year's Eve game. So people are going to do their best to watch that. So next game for Vancouver will be career game if Luke Shen plays in at 8.99. So
No.
on the cusp of 900 games. So that's pretty cool for an ex-Kelowna Rocket and a guy whose career looked like it was like not going great for a bit. So yeah, man, it's excited to see him sort of really turn things around and just be like a bit of an anchor piece for the Canucks these last few years. A couple of cups in the bank. So that's another cool feather in the hat for the Rockets.
House money for Luke Schenn now,
Mm-hmm.
basically. And I don't know if we brought this up, and we can finish on this. There has now been 67 former Kelowna Rockets that have made their debut in the NHL. Justin Kirkland just did for San Jose or Seattle
He's still
the other
playing?
day.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
How old is Kirk? He's like 26 now?
You gotta be. Yeah, it's been a while. So 67 career Kelowna Rockets.
Justin
2
Kirkland.
away.
Made his debut for who?
I feel like it was like Seattle or something. Could be wrong.
Oh yeah. Oh wait.
Or
Yeah,
San
he's
Jose.
got games for Anaheim.
Anaheim, that's who it was. That makes
Yeah,
more
he's
sense.
he had a good year for Stockton last year. 25 goals, 23 assists in the AHL. So
Lanky dude.
yeah, having a good year for the Gulls. He's got 13 points in 19 games. So yeah, he got the call up. So another NHL debut. 26 years old. There you go.
Good call. Good
Big
pull,
body.
man.
He was a good Rocket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I gotta get
had some fun seasons. I think that last year, 31 goals, 36 assists.
Yeah, he was on a good team.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's 67 former Rockets in the NHL, 2 to go. On that note, on behalf of my good friend Ted, wearing the PP1 podcast Masters hat, I am Ryan wearing a Vancouver Canucks hat. We're going to go have a happy new year. You're going to have a happy new year. I'm going to go win the first overall pick in fantasy football. You can bank it. You guys have a wonderful end of this year. We're going to see you next year because we're both dads and we can say those kind of things. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Dean Blundell Network, PP1 Podcast.